Hello, I'm Christi Luks, and I work with the Global Societal Initiatives Committee for AIChE. I'm also on faculty at Missouri University of Science and Technology, and I work with our Engineers Without Borders chapter there. I'm really excited that today I get to talk to some of our members from the University of Tulsa chapter of EWB that are also AIChE members. So, Donny and Chris, would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Donny. I'm a junior chemical engineering major at the University of Tulsa, and I am the health and safety officer for our international Bolivia trip with Engineers Without Borders.
My name is Chris Royal. I'm also a junior in chemical engineering at the University of Tulsa. My primary role so far in this project has been communication with travel mentors and getting communication with people that aren't at the university to make sure that we're all coordinated and are on the same page.
So you guys are in a little bit of a different position than most of the groups that we talk to, that you all have not actually traveled to visit with your community yet, but you're about to. So tell me a little bit about your plans.
So I guess like the genesis of this project was there were latrines that were built by a previous organization that were not built sustainably, and the community was not aware on how to maintain and repair them, and so they went defunct and are now not able to be used. And so what we're doing is we're going back in and we're hoping to build eco-latrines that'll be much more sustainable, and so we'll teach them how to maintain and repair and make sure they're actively involved in the construction of this project, and so that when they do break, they know how to fix it, and that the latrines don't go back to the state they were.
It's so far this project has been a lot of figuring out what kind of data we need to gather when we get there, because this trip, we're making a trip over our Thanksgiving break, and it's the assessment trip to figure out if this is truly the project they want to do, because we did contact them. They have been in contact with us in the past about wanting these eco-latrines, but it's to kind of affirm that that's the project they want, as well as to gather the data that we need for future trips to go back and actually implement and design and implement these latrines so that they are sustainable, and to set up a plan that they are sure that they will be able to upkeep them and use them when we are not there anymore.
So tell me a little bit, since you're going to be traveling in about 2 weeks, is that right? How have you communicated so far with the community?
So far, all our communication with the community has been through our NGO, and we haven't.
Explain what an NGO is. I don't know if everyone knows that.
It's a non-governmental organization,
okay.
And so our NGO is Engineers in Action, which is an engineering group that is based. They have one base in Tulsa and one base in La Paz, so that's worked out very well with us. And so all our communication has been through them and not directly through the community. So he makes trips out to the community and then asks the questions that we want him to ask, and then he relays that information to us, because there's a language barrier, obviously, and so he kind of works as like an interpreter.
Right. Okay, very good. And then you're on the verge of traveling. I know you're very excited about that. That's one of the most fun things. What are you hoping that you'll get out of it personally?
Personally, and I can already see a little bit of it coming just from getting ready for the trip, I'm hoping to gain a better appreciation of what we have and a better strive for just to help communities that don't have what we have to gain access to those things that make a much higher quality of living for them. Just simple things like having somewhere to go to the bathroom that is easy to get to and easily sustainable. So we're hoping to really, when we're there, to not only implement these eco-latrines as we have, we're hoping to possibly on future trips to help them to gain other things like irrigation to their farm, so that they can provide more sustenance for their families, and to go and sell things back in La Paz, so that they're not only doing sustenance farming for themselves.
How about you? What are you hoping to gain?
Yeah, so for me personally, it's been eye-opening kind of to see that coming from such like an opportunity-rich environment that is America, that you often take for granted, like the little things like Chris was saying, that I always have a place to go to the bathroom and I always have clean water. And so it's been something that has been super meaningful to me and has kind of changed my worldview a little bit, in that previously I was super interested in all things tech and like what's new in the world. And so now I've really kind of changed where I really want to go with my career in terms of trying to give back to these communities that don't have what we have, because it's something I'd never really thought about until I started getting involved in Insurance Without Borders as an organization.
And I'm just really interested, we've discussed this briefly already, but sustainability, we take that for granted, and our definition in the U.S. of sustainability is so different than sometimes in these other projects. You guys have a unique opportunity that you're correcting some mistakes from somebody else. What has happened to your mindset on sustainability that may impact your future career?
I think sustainability is something that you often really don't think about. Maybe initially you're often just thinking about, okay, what do I need to do? How do I need to get it done? But you don't think about in the future, like, what is this going to look like in 5 years? And so that's one of the more important steps that's often overlooked and results in projects like the one that we're going in correcting falling apart and then kind of being forgotten. And so sustainability is something that needs to be addressed before you really start thinking about how you're going to proceed. You have to think about being invested in making sure that people know how to maintain and repair, and having a plan that is like maybe even a user manual, which is something that we plan on leaving behind in terms of how to maintain and repair, so that when you're gone, the people that take over know what to do.
Yeah. So, okay, one last kind of question, comment. EWB likes communities and student groups or professional chapters to stay in contact for many years afterwards. So what do you see as a long-term future with this project? You had mentioned that you're hoping to be able to do some other projects.
Yeah, it's one thing that this is actually an international program through is what EWB USA kind of dictates it as, which is different in a project in that it's not we just go do one thing, do like maybe one post-assessment trip, and then we're just done with it, we wipe our hands of it. The plan is we do this assessment trip, and then on future trips when we're implementing, we're also gathering more data to see what else we can do for the communities. And they've already, in communication, have talked about several other projects that weren't necessarily the biggest priority over the latrines that we're looking at putting in, but they were things that would help a lot. Like I talked a little bit about the irrigation for farming. The community does a lot of sustenance farming, so they are looking to provide ways to farm more so that they are able to get past just sustenance farming and make a living for their families. And so we're looking to be able to do things like that just to help them to increase their quality of life in general.
And developing community relations is an amazing part of what EWB does. So, well, that's awesome. I am so pleased that I got to meet with you all today. And I know that you're excited about your trip coming up. So
Yeah, we're super excited.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.